Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. And it's not Face of the Enemy. I loaded up the wrong video. It is Tapestry and the TNG review show. Yep, completely loaded up the wrong intro video there. It was last week's. But anyway, you kind of get the idea. The music's there. So, yes. Good evening, everyone. It is the TNG review show where I'm coming to you from Montalban Studios, as always. I have with me this evening Chief Sean, and all the way from the planet Risa, we've got Mazing Bob.
Hello.
That's Casperia Prime, surely.
Yeah. Shall I? I'll show you Planet Riser.
Planet Riser, yeah.
It's
wow.
Sort of. See.
That
pretty
nice.
Cool, huh?
That does look pretty fantastic, to be honest.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got my cables tangled in a palm tree.
Oh,
not an every week problem.
No, it isn't. Palm trees
First
not
world
normally a
problems.
problem. Yeah. Good evening to everyone in live chat. Good evening, Stuplam. Good evening, Ruth. She's got some catching up to do because their internet completely died last week. We wondered where you went, Ruth. We were worried.
Well, you weren't the only one, Ruth.
No.
We were more or less on our own at the end. I think a few people, Chewy left a response saying his internet went as well. So, don't know what it was. There was gremlins in the machine.
However,
Stuplam was on holiday.
The Stuplam was on holiday.
One of those weeks.
One of those weeks. However, some sleuthing by Mazim Bob and myself, we did happen to notice that both yourself and Wookiee disappeared off the internet at exactly the same time. So that's a coinky dink.
That's a canoodly-doo.
How strange. Yeah. And this evening we have we don't have our very lovely Tabbykins Turner. Unfortunately,
It's not a data episode.
It's not a data episode, so she didn't want to come. Basically, she was staying up. Now, unfortunately, she has a problem with one of her children in the hospital, so she's looking after little ones and can't make it this evening.
Clarifying, nothing serious, just under observation, just in case anyone's wondering.
Just under obs.
Just took a bit of a knock, and she seems okay. So, hopefully so, and she might be able to make it in late. It just depends on if they're discharged or not.
We might see her. We might see her. We might not. We don't know at the moment, but we shall see. We shall see. Yes. So this evening's episode is Tapestry. It's episode 5. Oh, sorry, I haven't gone round the room yet. How's your week been, Chief Sean?
Yeah, it's all right. Very, very busy. Seems like I'm just juggling a lot of balls, and
you got to juggle your balls.
Yeah, especially in warm weather. You get stuck otherwise. But no, just a couple of crazy days at work. It just seems, I'm used to a bit of routine, and I'm getting anything but at the moment. But there's lots of good sci-fi. We have our Futurama, we have our Ahsoka on, and as I said, I'm catching up on Red Dwarf. So, we have all that to look forward to, as well catching up with TNG with your good selves.
Yeah, nice. Maz, I would ask you how your week's been, but it's looking pretty fantastic, to be fair.
It is fantastic now. We've booked a lot of our trips. We're going to Bob Marley's resting place. We're going to a phosphorescent lagoon at night, and a variety of other very cool things. Dunn's River Falls, Dolphin Cove. And then once we booked all those this morning, we had some time at the swim-up pool bar and a little bit of time snorkeling, seeing the fishies in the sea. So it's been very cool. However, the journey here was slightly traumatic. So we, I don't know if Lindy Hop has filled you in, Montybam, but we got on our first train from Plymouth to Reading, and then we got on our second train from Reading to Slough. And then we got off that train, and Ludacris went, "Where's my rucksack?" With all of our travel documents, our currency, our passports, our everything.
Oh no.
And the train that we were on was heading to Paddington. The lady at the train station got them to search the cars that she thought we were on, and then it wasn't there. So we were then questioning, did we lose it on the first train? So we decided to go to Paddington. We went to Lost Property. We went we spoke to the cleaners from the trains. Eventually the duty manager started ringing around, and the trains had left Paddington, but he got other guards to search the trains and stuff. After sort of 2 or 3 hours, they recovered our bag and managed to get it back to us. So we got to Heathrow hotel sort of 3 or 4 hours later than we intended. But yeah, we for sure thought our whole holiday was down this morning. So it was a huge relief.
I bet it was quite fraught.
Yes, it was. We were remarkably calm. I was like, look, accidents happen. There's no point in getting angry about it. It is what it is. But it was a big relief to get here.
Yeah. Good. My weeks are going all right. Apart from this afternoon, it seems like I've come down with a cold, which is a bit of a pain. So I've got a sore throat. My sinuses are all sore, and so if I'm sniffing and sneezing and turning my mic off and blowing my nose, I do apologise this evening, but I'm a little bit under the weather. Yes. Okay, I'm wearing my new Monster Maroon this evening because it's Tapestry.
Yes, very apt.
And I figured it was a good time to break it out. It hasn't got any of the pips for here or the pin here or it's got none of the proper badges, so I've still got to get some stuff for it. I've just slapped a TNG com badge on it for this evening. But yes, I thought
I am obviously without uniform, but you're wearing the female equivalent of a Hawaiian shirt.
You're on holiday in Risa, so it's the way you got to be out of uniform for that, haven't you?
Definitely.
Yeah. You're gonna get one of those statues.
Horgan.
The Horgan, yeah.
Yeah, there's only one person who wears a uniform holiday, and that's Worf.
Yeah. Ruth Stuplum, let us know how your week's been in chat. And have you got any wine or beer this evening? I've only got squash because I'm not feeling very well. So feel sorry for me.
Yeah, well, I've got some Morocco.
I have nothing at the moment because I've left the bar area. But I did wake up this morning and have some rum punch and Bucks Fizz.
Down by the rising sun.
And then I had 3 or 4 drinks at the swim up pool bar. So yeah, I probably could do with a couple of hours without.
3 little birds.
We have a beach
by my
party
window.
tonight every Wednesday. So beach party
nice.
tonight
Beach
for
party
3
tonight.
hours. So that'd be nice.
Right, very nice. All right, well, it's nice to know what you're going to be doing after the show. Good evening, Dan from Subspace Chair. Thank you, mate. Yes, I hope I'll be well soon. I'm hoping it's just like a 24-hour thing. Get like this with a change of like weather from summer to like winter. It just starts off all like sinuses going. And that,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I was saying before we went live, I'm getting a little tickle at the back of my nose and sneezing a bit. I'm hoping that's all it is, unless it doesn't go into full-blown man flu, but sure. We'll find out
I
soon.
almost always get a cold when I'm on a plane, so I masked up for most of the journey, other than when I was eating.
Yeah.
I just thought,
Nice.
I've got those masks for COVID, but if they can stop me from feeling crappy for a week on holiday, then yeah, I'll use it.
Yeah. Okay, so this evening we're talking about Season 6, Episode 15, Tapestry. It was production number 40276-241, and it first aired in the US on the 15th of February, 1993. It was written by Ronald D. Moore, which was his 21st of 29 episodes, and directed by Les Landau. It is his 32nd of 34. So not many more Les Landau episodes to go, just 2 more, which is Dark Page and Bloodlines. That's all we got left from that director. I would say, Maz, you got anything to say about this director? No, nothing.
No, well, I haven't done my usual sort of research or going through stuff, but I did, just look up a little bit of stuff. But I was just going to say that this episode was originally going to be sort of more of a Christmas Carol type thing, and they were going to go through a few different elements of Picard's life, like when he was a kid, and then this one, and then one from the Stargazer. But then they kind of changed tack and decided to just stick with exploring this one decision and this one theme from his life. But I do have some trivias and stuff, but I haven't put them all in the right order, so it might be a bit chaotic how I'm going about things tonight.
I mean, it would have to be a 2-parter to do a Christmas Carol. I mean, they did it in Doctor Who, and it was great.
Yeah.
Poor Tavi, when she watches this back, is going to be screaming at the amount of bingos she's missing. But anyway, there was a Doctor Who episode where he does actually do the Christmas Carol thing, and it's fantastic. But just you can't do it in a 42-minute episode. Yeah, 2-parter or nothing.
It did give me Christmas Carol-like vibes, though,
Oh, well, I would think more It's a Wonderful Life, that.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever watched It's a Wonderful Life, but nonetheless, that's the kind of premise of it, as I understand.
It is more It's a Wonderful Life than the Christmas Carol, isn't it? Because it's kind of the breakdown of his life type thing.
They show him as the life of his family if he didn't exist or something like that.
That's
I've
right.
Not watched it. Yeah, so it's much the same.
Yes, Ruth saying you didn't have time on the shuttlecraft to Risa to do that.
I know, shocking, right?
Shocking. There's a guy, I think, do you want some rum? There's a guy there. Yeah, she's able to order some rum and everything while she's at it.
She's explaining the whole thing.
Anyway, there we go.
I've nothing against Bob Marley, guy, but I actually prefer Toots Hibbert. But most people don't know who Toots is, but he has some great stuff. He invented the word reggae with a song called Do the Reggae. So he's legit if he actually literally invented the word.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah.
That is legit.
He's
Yeah,
bringing me a rum punch. Woohoo!
Very nice, very
Nice.
nice. He's like, "What are you doing there? What's that all about?"
Yeah, he's like, "Are you working? Are you working?" I was like, "Not really." He's
Not
like,
really.
"Can they hear me right now?" I was like, "I'm on mute."
Brilliant stuff. Okay, so the teaser then. Oh, bring up the first picture, Mark. You'll need a picture, won't you, with this? That was quite fun, though. I think it's the first time we've
I
ordered
do
a
love the
drink from a
idea.
waiter on stream. That's
I do love the idea there's people that are, oh, I'm working from home today. It's a virtual background. Yeah, rum punch.
rum punch.
I'm not
yeah,
in
I could
Jamaica.
put like a suit on.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant stuff.
Do the work from home interview thing where you're in your jammies and then, full suit from the waist up.
I wonder if I could make this a bit better. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably about it.
That's
There we go.
yeah.
Okay. I don't like the white border. It's really annoying. I wish I could change it. But anyway,
If
it is what
you,
it is.
Yeah, no, if you F11 it, does it get
It's
rid
just
of it?
it's the website. There's nothing I can change about it.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Can you change it your browser to dark mode? Would that take the color off it?
no.
Okay,
I've
no,
tried.
doesn't matter. Okay.
So the episode opens with commotion in the sickbay as they're preparing for an incoming emergency. It turns out the emergency is Captain Picard, who's beamed into sickbay with Riker, Worf, and a security team. Riker tells the doc that they were ambushed by Lunarians just outside a conference room. That's all we know about that scenario. Lunarians in the
We've
conference
never heard
room.
of them before nor since. We don't know what they look like.
We don't know why he was at a conference room or why they were attacked by Lunarians, but there you go.
Yeah, and they say later in the episode it was just an energy discharge. He wasn't shot or anything. So how exactly did he just bust open a cable? I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit loose that.
Anyway, the doc scans him and finds that apparently it was a compressed Terrian beam has fused his artificial heart. Shush, Chewie. Along with a bunch of other internal injuries. Despite administering...
Dinner.
Hey?
Has he had dinner?
Yes. Yeah, so she does a bunch of stuff, including a cortical stimulator, but nothing seems to work. My uniform often looks like that after I've been eating some pasta. A bolognese, slurping a bolognese up. My uniform.
I did
looks
look
like
at getting one of the dress uniforms, either the lower decks variant or the dress uniform variant of this, like used in the wedding for Nemesis. And I was just thinking, I'm always drinking red wine. I said, not a hope. It's all white cotton. It wouldn't last 2 streams and it would be ruined. I won't.
Luckily, red wine's fine. Have you had a drink already? Has that arrived already? Just like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was good going, wasn't it? Nice.
Yeah, it has, and it's pretty strong as well. I was like, woohoo! Here we go.
You get a good service from Ricer.
Yeah, they like to put Ray and Nephews in the drinks here, which of course is an overproof rum. And there's other people going, oh, that's a bit strong, and I'm like, I'll just have my neat over ice, please.
Nice.
Hardcore. So anyway, meanwhile, while he's laying on the slab, Picard arrives in heaven. He goes to meet the big cheese, only to find it is Q. He welcomes Picard to the afterlife. Congratulations, you're dead. And here's Picard reaching out to touch God, and then just gets disappointed to find that it's just Q. Oh, Tav is here. Chief uniforms.
Okay.
Tavi's in the chat. There we go. Off he goes then. Starting to get the references in. So yes, that was the teaser. That was your teaser. We got a question time.
They had real trouble. Oh yeah, I'll let
just-
Sean do the question first.
Yeah, let's just have. Hang on a minute. Where's my red alert? There you go. Do we have question time?
You sure you want to go to red alert, sir? That does mean changing the bulb.
Yeah.
So which drug did Crusher order for Picard's hypospray? A. Hydrocortisone, B. Lectrazine, C. Metrazine, or D. Inaprovaline?
Cool.
And this is a strictly binary choice. True or false? Q appears in more episodes of TNG than any other Trek series. I don't mean combined. I just mean versus any one of the others.
Yeah. I'm gonna go A and.
Tav, you missed loads. I was talking about
It was a bit of a guess.
sci-fi version of A Christmas Carol from Doctor Who and the new Futurama and the new Lower Decks. You missed it all. Actually, I'm ruining it now by giving them all back to you.
So one thing I was going to say was this scene with the bright whiteness was a real sort of challenge for them to shoot. They tried a few things. At one point, it just looked like Q was kind of a floating head, but he sort of toned down his mannerisms and performance a little bit to go with this kind of, godly, heavenly sort of thing. But that was in keeping with the fact that they were actually, the last couple of episodes, they portrayed Q as being a bit more of a serious character, not quite the Joker he was to start with.
Yeah.
It's only since I started doing the stream that I appreciated lighting and having how pale skin makes it really awkward. That you need to get powder or something. I look like greasy on camera. But I can imagine the lighting people having problem him wearing all white and being a big pale Irish head on him.
You need like a
Yeah, could very well do it, but anyway, too late now. But I think I probably told you this one before. But anyway, he spent his whole life, and all his grandparents thought they were this French aristocracy, were learning French and going to France and stuff. And they researched the family tree, and it just turns out it wasn't Delancey at all. It was just the way they wrote it down on the form. It was Clancy. Family's actually from the west of Ireland. He thought they were French and sophisticated. Like, no, they're bog potato people.
I think that's still cool, though. You gotta love an Irish
Nothing
descent.
wrong with being from Irish.
No, us McCoys, we're from Irish Ireland, so we're of Irish descent. So again, it's noble. I tell you, it's noble.
But what I mean is, they thought they were this kind of sophisticated French, haute cuisine, cordon bleu kind of people, and they're like, no, you're salt of the earth. No, you're normies.
Yeah. Hang on.
No, we lost Monty. Well, we waiting on Monty there. Any more trivia, Maz?
Probably. I just don't have it all in the right order. This is
well,
obviously one of the few Q episodes without Q in the title. There were a couple of others. I've got a list somewhere. But yeah, obviously a lot of them did. They did think about some alternate episode titles for this.
Q Carol
like
or
When
something.
You Wish, and When You Wish Upon a Q. So they did think of some others, but yeah. Oh yeah, the other ones without Q in the title were Encounter at Farpoint, All Good Things, and Death Wish.
I wonder if we could claim our Irish heritage, as Ruth said there, and get around Brexit by staying in the EU, by reclaiming our Irish citizenship.
You generally have to find a grandparent.
We could find a great-grandparent.
It might be enough. Well, I'll tell you a weird thing. Ireland was part of the Commonwealth until 1949, I think it was. And my father was born in 46. And the rule back in the day was if you were a Commonwealth citizen, you could get a British passport. So if my father wanted one, he could get one. And if he got one, I could get one. Yeah. No, I have no reason to ask for one. But if for some reason I needed it for work, well, I wouldn't, because an Irish passport works in the UK. But if I did for some reason need to get it, I could get it through a loophole.
Yeah. Okay, so answers to the question. We've got some D's and trues. We got an A in true. We got a C in true. Subspace Chatter thinks maybe Q was had more appearances in Enterprise.
No, that's not quite right. No, he was in yeah. So this is kind of like the way Barclay was in more Voyager than TNG. Yes, Q was in more Picard than TNG. He was in 8 episodes of TNG, and he was in 9 episodes of Picard. He's in 1 episode of Deep Space Nine, 3 episodes of Voyager, and 1 episode of Lower Decks.
Was he in 9?
22 appearances. 9 Picard and 8 TNG. Yeah.
Oh.
And there's only like 30 episodes of Picard, so that's bear in mind he's in every episode of season 2.
I
I
would personally argue. I'm going to get on my high horse here a little bit. I'd personally argue that John DeLance was in Picard, but not necessarily Q. Just because he was nothing like Q. But
yeah, well, that was the reason for the question, just to give you a bit of a trivia, mix it up a bit.
Yeah, Marie says she knew it was close with Picard, but she thought TNG just had it.
I thought that. But...
Yeah, and this, I was going to ask a different question, which was of his 8 appearances on Picard, which appearance was this? But I thought that was too obvious. It's the 7th. This is his last appearance before the finale, before All Good Things.
Did you count the 2-parters as like All Good Things and?
I didn't, because I went by the appearances that they had for the character. But
I would count those as 2 episodes each. So Encounter of Farpoint and All Good Things would be 4 episodes.
True or false? Put everyone on the wheel. Technicality.
I'm just saying that would be 4 episodes then, wouldn't it? And then all the other episodes.
Yeah,
would that be more?
I just went by Memory Alpha. I didn't even consider that. Let me just check that. Hold on. Let me just check that.
I see. Yes, he was on the Enterprise. He just wasn't visible.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so they mentioned All Good Things as 1 episode and Encounter at Farpoint as 1 episode. So yes, if you count them as 2 episodes, that's 10, which beats it. So you're right. By technicality, whether the answer true or false, you get to go on the wheel.
Oh, everybody gets on the wheel, and everybody.
Baby.
Oh yes. And what was the first one? Sorry, what was the first answer?
D, Inaprovaline.
Yeah.
I gosh, that was a complete guess.
I guessed wrongly.
So that was just me and Ruth, was it?
Yeah, just you and Ruth.
Wow.
And it's Maz,
Mega guess.
Monty, Tabikins didn't answer, did she? Did she answer?
No.
No, so no Tabby. But
Mr. T says hi, by the way. Hi, Mr. Tabikins.
Stu Plum. Oh, hi, Mr. Tabikins.
A bit of the fool.
I hope your little one is okay. Is that it? Wookie, Monty, Stu, Maz? Actually, Wookie's not here, is he?
No.
Ruth, where's Wookie?
Oh,
It's Ruth, Monty, Maz, Stu.
Oh, Ruth. I forgot Ruth.
Subspace.
Oh, Subspace.
Answered false.
Well, we're putting all of them on, so there we go. And no Wookie.
No, does that mean Wookie doesn't go on the wheel?
He doesn't go on the wheel if he's not here. He can't interrupt us. Okay.
No penalties tonight.
No penalties tonight. So let's spin the wheel. Oh, good. It's
Maz!
Oh my goodness!
There you
Thank
go.
you.
For the
Thank
skin
you
of her
very
feet.
That was so close, Stu Plum. You only just about missed out there. Just about missed out.
Robbed you.
Unlucky.
Robbed, I tell you. Okay, so on to Act 1. On to Act 1. Okay, so Picard questions what Q's playing at, and Q tries to convince him he is dead and in the afterlife, and he, Q, is God. But Picard's not buying it. Yeah, he's dead, Dave. They're all dead, Dave. Picard's not buying it, saying the universe is not that badly designed to have Q as God. Q initially threatens to smite him or something like that, but instead he brings forth Picard's father, who lectures him about how he warned him Starfleet would bring him to a bad end. And Picard's dad finishes with a now even all these years, Jean-Luc, you still managed to disappoint me. Which is not very nice, really, of his dad, if it really was his dad.
Yeah, do you know how rare it is to be a captain?
I know.
First of all, you have to become an officer, and then of the officers, 1 in maybe 300 or 400 get to be a captain?
That being said, he did allow himself to be captured by the Borg and is responsible for the death of pretty much half of Starfleet. So if he is in the afterlife, there may be a number of people there that are not too happy with him.
Well, being unhappy with him, he had very little choice in the matter.
He did. He didn't have any choice. Yeah. So Q brings forth a load of voices questioning Picard, and Q tells him that. What does he have to say to all these voices, all these people he has killed? Picard's like, killed? I don't kill anyone. But who have died through either his actions or inaction, and implores him to express his apologies and regrets. But Picard will not perform for Q. Q does seem like a Loki-like character. Very much
I nearly
so.
made a question out of that, but I didn't, thankfully.
No, he absolutely does. Q thinks he really should get it off his chest now, because they are about to spend eternity with each other, and he doesn't want him whining the whole time. Picard tells him his only regret was dying and finding him here. Which, to be fair, is pretty disappointing, isn't it? When you get to the end of your life and you die, and it's like, oh God. Q tells Picard that he isn't responsible for him being here. This is, and he holds up Picard's mechanical heart in his hand. And I like the way Picard looked down at his chest as if he was going to see like some difference. What? Where did? Oh.
It's like a gift from George Michael.
Q questions him how he ended up with this mechanical heart, and we see a young Picard battling some Nausicaans. Initially, the battle goes well. He gets the Nausicaan in a rather devious headlock, but one of his chums sneaks in behind him and stabs him in the back. And Picard falls to his feet. The young Picard falls to his feet, laughing at the sight of a dagger coming through his chest. Noticing the laugh, Q comments that it's so unlike Picard to have a sense of humour. Because he doesn't, does he? Picard's always a bit... I am Picard.
Yeah.
Picard kneels, looking at the dying younger self, and thinks he was a different person then, full of ego, arrogant and undisciplined. Q thinks he sounds much more interesting. A lot more like himself. It took this event to realise his own arrogance. He started this fight because he was cocky. If he hadn't done that, he wouldn't have needed the mechanical heart, and he wouldn't have died from it. Q then appears on his shoulder and is like, and if you could do it again? Picard admits it would be different. And then, all of a sudden, he gets a slap in the face by a young lady. Smack. And that is the end of Act 1.
All right. So,
We want a question
these are going to be a bit tricky, I do admit.
A bit tricky.
All right.
Tricky.
What is the name of Picard's father? A. Maurice, B. Laurent, C. Pierre, D. Xavier. Sorry, Xavier. It shouldn't be Xavier. You got mixed up with the English pronunciation. And the bonus is Starbase Earhart is mentioned in this act. But in what series did we meet Amelia Earhart?
I know the answer.
Not the episode, not the individual season, just the show.
I know the answer.
Mazza, I will accept that answer. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I couldn't quite remember what the name of the episode was, but...
Well, I just wanted the show. I didn't want the episode, but that's
right.
I'll accept that. That's fine.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to guess for the first one. I reckon. Okay. Yeah. Guess.
Random bit of trivia on that episode is just that they filmed 24 episodes for the first season of Voyager, and they kept 2 back, so it was meant to be the it wasn't meant to be the season finale, but it ended up being because they basically pulled 2 episodes forward for the next year.
Cool. So, trivs and stuff. So, they did mention this whole brush with death in a previous episode, Samaritan Snare, where Picard is telling Wesley all about it.
Yep.
And he does say that after being stabbed, he looked down and laughed, and he has no idea why. So, it's good that they've sort of brought that in and given that some meaning in a really kind of cool way. So, yeah, it's just a nice bit of detail continuity there.
And I quite liked in that scene how when he was explaining to young Wesley that the terminology he uses, like, I got this one Nausicaan in a rather devious headlock. Like, despite the fact he got stabbed through the chest and nearly died, he's still pretty proud of his moves that he made during that encounter.
To be fair, back in the days we played rugby, if you scored a try and you lost the game 50-5, you'd still be proud of yourself. You'd be like, oh, but it was a good try though. You have to take the positives where you can.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you
No, go ahead.
then.
I was going to ramble, but go on.
There was another reference to this, or a photograph of Picard back in these sorts of days in Nemesis. But apparently he was photographed as bald there, even though...
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah.
Blanket reviews make fun of that.
It was a different actor playing him. Also the guy that plays his younger self getting stabbed through the heart is Marcus Nash, and his real life sister Jennifer Nash was Meribor, Picard's daughter in The Inner Light. And apparently it was Jennifer Nash who sort of got her brother an audience, for an audition or what have you, kind of got him into this series, this episode. So yeah, that's cool.
Well, he doesn't look anything like him, but having said that, he has the hairline. You can see it's starting to bald, and he has a very distinctive nose.
He has the nose. Yeah, he's got the nose going on.
If you look at young photos of Patrick Stewart, he doesn't really look any different.
No.
He's one of those people that didn't age really at all. Like it's like Leslie Nielsen. He was just old when he was like 25, and he always stayed that way.
And that Nausicaan knife apparently was sort of sold off an online auction from this episode, and it never says how much they go for, but yeah, it'd be a quite cool thing to own, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There's young Patrick Stewart there, so he doesn't look so different.
No, if you take the hair off. I guess we're all like that in a way, though, unless you grow a beard. You look completely different.
Yeah, that guy doesn't look too much unlike him.
No, it's not too much unlike him.
Sorry, you were saying, Mazzy? Or
I was saying what?
Oh, sorry, I thought we cut you off. Okay.
You done?
No, I'd finished.
Okay.
All good.
Should we get answers then to these? So we got A, Voyager, C, Voyager, B, and the 47s.
Yeah. Some people call them Maury's. It was A, yeah. And Star by Sayhart. It wasn't the 47s, it was the 37s. So, Mazzy, it was Voyager. Fine.
Yeah.
But I can see why you got mixed up. But yes, it was the 37s.
I see.
Got mixed up with the number 47 or maybe the 49ers.
I'll accept that answer. It's close enough.
The 49ers. That was in a few episodes ago, wasn't it? That when he went back in time.
Did somebody say Niners?
Niners, yeah, the Niners. How do you say?
Get to the opposition.
Yeah. What is supposed to say? Picard's father is Professor X. Yeah, I think it was his great grandfather.
I did put in Xavier, but obviously that was just a reference to Xavier, so it's never going to be that.
Yeah. Times Arrow, thank you, Dan. Yes, Times Arrow. That had some 49ers in it. Or a 49er. Okay.
So in terms of who got Voyager,
who got Voyager?
Wheel. So that would be myself, Monty Ban, Ruth. I think that's it. Just three of us.
Yeah. Where's no Stuplum? Did he not get that?
No, he answered the first question, but not the bonus.
Okay. Just three of us. And no Wookiee. Where's Ruth? Where's Wookiee? What have you done with him? Okay, I'm spinning the wheel.
Ooh, Vix.
Oh,
Taking up the Monty.
fix!
Nicely done.
Oh, no, I just removed myself. Oh, well, no, never mind. Okay. I needed the extra points because I got the first question wrong. Right. I'm just drinking blackcurrant squash, unfortunately, because I'm not feeling very well. That's my. Let us know if you've got anything more interesting.
Drinking wine.
Chief is drinking wine, which I think is what
Want to
she's
have
more
my
interested in.
cornflakes? Have some wine.
That would be a Red Dwarf reference.
Yeah, I think I've already done that one, but anyway, no harm to do it twice.
Alice Earhart is also referred to in Robin Hood hologram from Cupid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
Not off the top of my head, certainly.
No, I didn't know that. Right, so Picard finds himself...
Actually, sorry, just before we moved on, the Earhart is mentioned all the way back from Strange New Worlds all the way up to Lower Decks, so it's mentioned all over the place. It's been a base forever. Sorry, please continue.
Picard finds himself back on Starbase Earhart, as we were just talking about. And the slap was because he double dated a girl called Corlina. That she found out about, and so it's all gone wrong. Much to the amusement of his best friends at that time. I put Corran, but it's not his name, is it?
You know, yeah, it's Corey
Corey
Zeldman.
Zweller, yeah.
He goes by his Corey, but it's
Corey.
Corrin.
I was about to say, yeah, Corran Zweller and Marta Batandes. Still a bit disorientated, he is surprised to see them, and they're mocking him about the slap and thinking that slap must have been harder than they thought because he's all discombobulated.
Quick question. There seems to be only one bar on this starbase. How exactly is he doing a Fonzie with one bar with 4 tables in it?
I don't know.
Explain that one to me.
Maybe the other date was in the Arboretum or something like that.
Yeah, he's
that
doing
seems
the
to be
Mrs. Doubtfire thing and getting changed in the jacks back and forth. I don't know.
Yeah. After his friends leave, Q arrives and assures him this is no fantasy, it is real. He's 21 years old again, though Picard doesn't think he looks it. Q has given him a chance to change the things he regrets. Picard frets about the timeline, but Q's like, frankly, you're not that important. But he still refuses, so Q gives him his personal guarantee that only his life will be affected by anything that happens here. So it won't affect anyone else. The only thing that will be affected will be his own life. That's if you believe what Q says.
Well, that's kind of the Faustian deal, isn't it? Like that film, was it The Devil's Due with Liz Hurley? That thing where they grant your wishes, but it's always twisted. Well, I suppose that's Q all over, really, isn't it?
That is Q, yeah.
Yeah. He gives you what you want, and he keeps his word, but twists it.
Yeah. It turns out that they are a couple of days away from the fateful encounter with the sword that's going to go through his back, and he has that long, 2 days, to avoid that happening. And if he's successful, Q promises that he will return him to his own timeline, and he will have his own heart back intact. Picard think that sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah, I'll have my own heart. I won't die. Yeah, but Q corrects him. Of course, you'll die, just at a later time, not right then. If he fails this mission, then he will die on Crusher's table, and they will get to spend entire eternity together, which quite frankly, doesn't sound so good. So yes, Picard realizes that the other side of the double date is waiting for him, someone called Penny, So he heads down to the bar to meet her. They make small talk.
Penny.
Penny. Yeah.
Penny.
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 Penny. Penny. Yeah. I don't think there's a Big Bang Theory bingo reference.
No, it doesn't come up enough.
Doesn't. No. Oh, Evening Smiler. Evening Smiler.
Although Brent was great in that, as was Will Wheaton.
Tabikins is singing the Smiler Rainbow song. Yes, so he goes to meet Penny in the... yes, you've seen the right picture. He goes to see Penny in the bar. I'm not doing it again. Who's still waiting for him. And they make small talk, but Picard's now a lot older than what he appears, and he's not as at ease around women and as comfortable as he used to be when he was younger. So he's like quite quiet. He tells her he wants to get to know her more and have a conversation. So she gives him the highlights. She's from Rigel, her last name's Murrock, and she likes men in uniforms. Now let's get on with the kissing, please. But Picard pulls away. She questions what's wrong. Is she not attractive, as she was last night to him? And Picard replies that, no, she is a handsome woman. And Penny's taken aback by that, as that's the way you would describe an old lady. Picard tries to backtrack and says she's certainly not an old lady. But then he gets a glass of water in the face for that. And she tells him she doesn't want his pity. And I got some photos of that happening. There's the glass in motion towards the face. And that's him soaking wet.
In British English, a handsome woman is, I suppose, correct English, but I suppose in American English it can come off as very insulting. So I can see the confusion.
Even now, it wouldn't come across well, would it?
Now,
but like a new date
30 years
at a bar
ago,
and go, "You're a handsome woman." That's not gonna.
Well, it's not meant as an insult, and this was obviously filmed 30 years ago. I know it's set in the future, but they were writing it in the current time. So it would have been more common back then.
Q, the bartender, offers him a rag to wipe away the juices, and tells him he didn't know he was such a ladies' man. They then hear a game of donjots going on where Corey is playing. And Picard goes to join them and finds Corey winning as usual. Apparently, his friend is very good at Domjot. Marta jokes that he should leave Starfleet and take up Domjot for a living. He'd make quite good money. But Corey plays it down. It's just some trigonometry and a little wrist action. He's good at that, apparently.
I've struggled to figure out what this set was. I don't recognize exactly what the structure of it is. I thought it was 10 forward for a bit, and I've looked online. I can't seem to find the answer.
No, there's nothing in...
No. But it is quite intricate, the struts and things, although they could be reused from something else. But
it's a lot of Klingon stuff.
Well, I mean, it's not explained in the episode, but I'm just assuming Starbase Earhart is on the Klingon border. Because that would make sense, especially since there's so many non-Federation people there.
Yeah,
like K7, it's just one of those places. But so that can be explained away. But I can't figure out what this room is or what it's a reuse of. Like, they didn't build it from scratch. It's too intricate. It's not just blank flats. It's bigger than that. But there's no information online, so dead end.
None. No, there's nothing. In fact, Ex Astra Scientia. Didn't have anything about it apart from all the Klingon bits and pieces that are in it. And we've only got about another 5 episodes on that website before we run out. They only go up halfway through season 6.
Oh, Jorgis, actually, he's doing a rewatch. Strange. Okay, so Jorg, the guy who does all those reviews, he's doing a rewatch of the episodes back from the start, and he's working his way forward again. So I'm surprised he didn't finish the first time before starting again. There you go. He was hired as a researcher on Picard because he's so, finicky about facts and props and things. So he actually got to be on the show. That's how good he is.
So yes, Corey here says Baroque. Now there's a game. I don't know what Baroque is, but apparently it's a game. Better than Dom Jock.
I'm near Kildee.
Then a Norscan enters and demands a game of Dom Jot. Play Dom Jot, human. And that was the end of Act 2. Question time.
Okay, so so the first question: what is the name of the lady who slaps Picard? A. Cordelia, B. Cortan, C. Corlina, D. Penny. Sorry, D again because it should be E. Who cares where my data at? And the bonus question is: when Q is dying in Picard, what parting gift does he give him? What parting gift does he give to Picard? When he's sending him back to his own time with everyone else, and he gets back and there's a little surprise for him.
So, in terms of some trivs, some bits that I forgot to say earlier because I didn't have anything in order. Q had actually chronologically appeared the previous week on the episode Q-less, which is Deep Space Nine. And then in that episode, he mentions maybe I should pay Picard a visit. And obviously then he does. I hadn't really realized that those two episodes were sort of shown back to back, which is pretty cool. And also this is one of the only 5 episodes that doesn't have a star date. The others being Symbiosis, First Contact, Liaisons, and Sub Rosa. And for some other bits of triv. So this place where they're at, did the name of it get mentioned?
I haven't mentioned it because I didn't know if it was going to be a question.
Sorry, the name of... I tuned out a second. The name of what?
The recreation facility.
Oh, I didn't use that, no.
Right. So I don't know if they've mentioned it yet. But it is
Bonestall or something.
Yeah, it's called the Bonestall Recreation Facility, which was named after legendary science fiction artist Chelsea Bonestall. And also in one scene, there's a Soleil and an Antican in the background, which were seen from Lonely Among Us and were deadly enemies at the time.
They must have made up.
Yeah. This is the first appearance of Domjot. And that because it's in the questions. I'll say that next time. So there's a bit of a problem with the star dates. So you said that this was 30 years previous when he was like 21 or something, which means he should be like 51 or 52. Yeah, 51 years old now. But when they say at the end about the class of 27, that means this would be 2327, and the actual star date at the moment is 2369. So that would put it as being 42 years ago, not 30 years ago, like they say. Right. So, yeah, there's a bit of an issue with the star dates and timelines and things there.
I will say that was probably writer's error, because Picard, the character, is about 10 years older than Patrick Stewart, the actor. So I think it's roughly 10 years. So that would account for some of that discrepancy if they were working off Patrick's age and not John Luke's age. So we're thinking, well, Patrick Stewart is 50, therefore he graduated what year? So I'd say it was just something like that.
Yeah, maybe. But obviously he should have been saying, oh yeah, that happened 42 years ago instead of 30 years ago. That would have just corrected it, basically.
A little bit.
Underground Paradox, G-Star's here. Maz, you're on holiday, he says. Why are you on the show? Yeah, she's in Risa, G. She's in Risa.
I am.
Yeah.
I know. For those that didn't see it earlier, look at that. There's a little private island
little
there.
birds.
It's a little private
nudie outside my window.
Island.
Yeah, if you go over there, you've got to get all your kit off.
Oh. Crumbs.
Nudist only.
What, on the little island?
Yeah, on the little island. They do a little boat over there, and yeah, if you go over there, you've got to be naked, else it's not fair.
Ah.
I can see a little row of pink people.
So when are you heading over there then, Maz?
Well, they do. You can go over there. They have like set time of day where people can go over there and explore the island without getting their kit off. So we might do that.
Oh, wimp.
I know, boring.
Boring.
To be fair, like Luda loves getting his kit off. So
That's true. He'll be over there. He'll be swimming over there, won't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to, but they have like lines of buoys out, which is as far as you're supposed to go out swimming. So he was quite disappointed that he couldn't swim over there.
Oh.
Sad times.
Well, he might be allowed if he went with the boat, if the boat was beside him kind of thing. Maybe he could finagle
Underground Paradox says he's flying there tomorrow. Yeah, you'd love it here.
It would, yeah. And all that rum as well. All the rum. Okay, should we get answers to the questions then, Sean?
We shall. Yeah, so it was C, Corlina, and the parting gift was to give him back. Do you know the name's gone out of my head? Your man, the elf from Lord of the Rings. What do you call him? The
Legolas?
Yeah, him. Do you know the Romulan in Picard? God, what's his name?
Oh yeah,
Romulan guy.
yeah, Elnor.
He looks like an elf from Lord of the Rings, and he has a Kiwi accent, New Zealand accent. You know that guy.
Yeah. Elnor,
anyway,
yeah.
He gives him his life back. So anything in the general area of giving him his friend back or his life back, anything at all. I don't think anyone actually.
No, I don't think anybody.
Nobody went for the bonus question. Okay.
Yeah, I
Does that
didn't
mean everyone
know,
was
so
on the
I
wheel?
didn't answer. So no wheel spin. I don't think
No
we can
wheel
do a wheel spin with nobody on it. What happens if I take any? Oh, yeah, it can't spin with nothing on it. There's no wheel to spin.
Yeah, I got caught out by the first question. I answered the lady who threw the drink in his face, not the lady who slapped him. Yeah.
You thought it was Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bit of a red herring there.
I like the way, after he gets a drink thrown in his face, Q the barman leans forward and goes, "Penny for your thoughts."
Although the other three did start with C, so that might have been half a clue. Your Cortan is the ginger guy's last name. That's Corey Cortan, I think is his name.
Cortan, yeah.
So and Cordelia is it's from Shakespeare, but I was thinking of your one from Buffy when I was throwing that in.
I was trying to blank all the characters from Picard out of my head, so a Picard question is just completely lost on me, to be honest, Sean. It's like,
Well, at the end of season 2, he comes back to the present day, and then he gets a call, and then he's an ensign on another ship, so he didn't die after all. He's changed the timeline. That's what he did. That was his gift. His parting gift as he died, and then he hadn't died because he came back in season 3 because the writing part is a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah, Elnor was serving on the Excelsior, as Dan's pointed out. So when the crew of the Stargazer got taken through the portal to the opposite dimension, for some reason it also took Elnor off the Excelsior for unknown reasons. None of it makes any sense. But anyway. Okay, moving on to Act 3. Get the picture. Corey accepts a game of Donjot against Picard's advice. They play the game while the rest of the bar and Q and Picard watch on. Q thinks Corey's doing rather well, but Picard tells him that Corey will lose because he's seen it, because the Norskans are cheating. Last time, Picard helped his friend rig the table so they would win in the rematch. Back then, the Norskans didn't take it very well and wanted to fight a fight. So Picard gave them one. Q thinks that's a beautiful story. Gets you right here. Which it's quite funny. Punching his heart. I thought some of the
that was
one-liners.
actually the same line as in some 1967 episode. I lost it in my notes, but yeah, that whole "gets you right here" was a line from elsewhere. I can't find it. I'll tell you in a bit.
Q does have some great lines in this episode. As prophesied by Picard, Corey does lose and lose badly. So they head back to their quarters and discuss why they lost. They kind of regroup. Corey is convinced that Norsecon's cheating somehow and comes up with a plan to rig the table. Picard tries to convince him out of it. As they are not cadets anymore, they are now Starfleet officers. So Corey leaves, feeling left abandoned by his friends. Marta is surprised at this new, more responsible Picard, as he would usually be the one running off, scheming, planning revenge. It's weird. Picard says it's weird now to think of themselves as ensigns rather than cadets. And she thinks it's a shame that they won't be getting to experience it together. It's kind of having a bit of a moment. When Picard barges in with flowers for John Luck Pickard, he completely ruins the moment and leads Marta into thinking some things will never change. Flowers from another conquest, no doubt. And she leaves. Q says, did I interrupt anything sordid, I hope?
Oh, what a cock block.
Yeah. Picard admits they were just friends, nothing more. Nothing's going to come of it. Q's like, oh, another regrets. My, you simply are riddled with them. He tells Picard that Corey has not accepted his advice and he's right now down the bar rigging the table as they speak. So Picard heads down to the bar to stop his friend, but as he approaches him, he makes him jump and Corey bangs his head on the underside of the dom job table. Initially, Corey thinks Picard's there to help him, but soon realises he's trying to convince him out of it, and Corey thinks Picard sounds like his mother. He thinks she must be joking, but Picard doubles down, telling him he will inform the gambling foreman. So Corey finally gives in and wanders off. Later, Picard visits Marta in her room, and he hopes he hasn't damaged his friendship with Corey because they're going to be friends for a long time to come. Marta is again now surprised how serious Picard is. Marta thinks this new Picard is rather attractive. She asks him if he ever thought about getting together, and Picard admits that he has. She asks him why he hasn't done anything about it, and Picard right now, at this moment, cannot think why. So they passionately kiss. And that is the end of Act 3. Oh, no. Question time.
Sorry, a man has texted me about a dog, hence all the fervent typing. Right, so what game did Corey say, there's a game? A, Baroque, A, Tango, B, Baroque, C, Chula, D, Fizbin, E, Days Phallic Super Soaker Fun Time. And what? The bonus question. Days Phallic Super Soaker Fun Time, of course. That classic game that Tavi likes to play.
Oh my god.
And the backdrop of Starbase Airpark was previously used for what 1976 sci-fi film featuring both runners and sandmen?
Oh god.
So, a few interesting bits. So, first one was relating to Penny. So she was named for an older woman that Ronald D. Moore had once dated, which is quite interesting because obviously in this context she was portrayed as like an older woman to Picard as well. But speaking of older women, I don't know if you know this, but the actress who played Marta there, she's playing a 21-year-old.
She's 17.
She's 17, and she's kissing Patrick Stewart, who's 52, who's like over 3 times her age. So it's just a little bit ick.
She's still an attractive. I mean, she's my age, so she's 47 now. As of today, right now, today, she's still half a decade younger than Patrick Stewart was then.
Yeah.
That's how much younger she was.
Yeah, he's only gone from being 3 times her age to being now 2 times her age, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Leonardo DiCaprio is not quite in that zone yet, but in about 5 years or 6 years he will be. So yeah, he's getting up there.
What else? Oh, and Q's statement, it gets you right here, doesn't it? Was an identical line to one from The Changeling, a 1967 episode. The other bits that I had. Oh, there's one more thing, which is that her surname is Batanides, I think.
Batnides. Yeah, she does say it in the episode. It's weird the way she says it.
Yeah. There was one other character actor named Arthur Batanides, who played a geologist, D'Amato, in That Which Survives in 1969. But other than that, like, there's not really any other. It was one of the few blue shirt scientists, to be killed in the original series. But yeah, other than that, there's no other references to that name.
Dan says maybe she was Martia from the Undiscovered Country. Is that the shapeshifter? Is that the
Yeah,
Martia?
I think so.
The shapeshifter that gets him out of Rura Penthe.
He also says that he asked
Larry David Bowie's wife.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. He also said he's asked Larry Nemeczek if he knows what Starbase Earhart set was originally, and even he isn't sure.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, well, I gave the runners and the Sandmen was kind of a clue.
Yeah, well, he'd actually Subspace put that in chat way before you asked the question, actually.
All right. Grand. Okay, we probably have enough time with the questions there.
BB, and 2 Logan's Run.
Yeah, so it was Brokey. I'll talk you through the table on that one because there's a few interesting questions. Tongo, what's Tongo?
Tongo.
It's kind
Tongo
of
is what they play in Quark's bar. It's like with this spin wheel in.
It's a fringy kind of poker, kind of Monopoly game.
Yeah.
Somewhere between poker and
Monopoly.
Consortium
and
Total Monopoly, yeah.
Monopoly.
So somewhere between poker and Monopoly with a spinning wheel. Brokey is the right answer. Chula. Can anyone tell me about Chula? It was featured in last week's episode of Lower Decks.
Alan McCrane, 1, 2, 3. Alan Moraine.
Yeah, go. Yes.
Lemon meringue. Lemon meringue.
Yeah, that's the one. Fizbin.
Yeah.
And can you tell me Fizbin?
No.
Fizbin. Well, it was mentioned in Deep Space Nine, but it was a game that Kirk made up to confuse a computer to make it explode in TOS, or those old scientists. And Data's Phallic Super Soaper Fun Time. Tavi can tell you all about that.
I'm sure she can. All right. And so who's on the Wheel of Misfortune? Still no Wookiee. Still no Wookiee. Wookiee's gone. We miss you, Wookiee. So
that was my mournful.
Myself, Ruth.
Ruth and Monty.
Just the two of us. Is that it? Are we just a Pokeball? Let's spin that wheel then. Oh, it's a solid Ruth. It's a solid Ruth. Yes, well done, Ruth. Tavigans goes for a Super Soaker Fun Time. Yeah.
Oh my.
Right.
Sorry about the furious typing. I'm trying to put a bid in the house, and the guy's trying to put me off it. Yeah. Well, it's got cracks through it, but that also means nobody wants it, which means it's cheap. So it's a big house that nobody wants to bid on because it has problems. But there's a grant that nobody knows about that will pay for everything it needs to fix it. Possibly.
Yeah, well, everything's fixable, isn't it? Everything's fixable.
Yeah. Well, 2 or 3 people have balked off the sale because they reckon it wasn't fixable, but we'll see. Nobody's actually paid for the structural survey, which costs about €500. So.
Yeah, I'll just leave it on that for. Oh, Karen's not in chat, so Karen, you're missing this picture, Karen. You're playing Fortnite, and you could be staring at that. See, That's what you get. That's what you get.
I'm in it.
Picard wakes up with his ear being tickled. And he's like, "Oh, that's nice." But he turns over and finds Q lying next to him instead of Marta. So he covers his nipples. He's shy about his nipples, apparently. Q teases Picard about him and Marta just being friends. Is he just friends, are you? And asks him what now. Picard doesn't know. He's going to see what happens as the day unfolds. Picard heads to the bar and has the morning talk with Marta. And Picard tells her that he has no regrets about what happened. But Marta does. Regrets. No regrets. But Marta does because they have been friends for a long time and she feels they've now ruined it. And because, it's okay. It's not a problem. We can just forget it ever happened. Which upsets her even more. It's not what she wanted to hear. That was her big worry, really. That he was just going to move on. And he literally says that right away. She thinks... because there's a shipping out party tomorrow, and that's now going to be very difficult because of all their feelings. And Picard's like, well, you don't have to go. We wouldn't want you to do anything that would make you feel uncomfortable. But that kind of just made things even more worse. Because they made the plans to be there, and she now leaves crying, and Picard's like, what did I say? Cue the barman pops up again. He's like, well, you've got slapped by one woman. You've had a drink thrown over you by another woman. You've alienated both of your best friends. Now all you have to do is avoid being stabbed. So later at the going away party, the three friends meet for one last time, and Picard tries to engage them in polite conversation, but they've got not much interest in talking to him. It's a tough room. He proposes a toast to the class of 27. Then some Nausicaans enter, and they want to play Dom Jot Human. Have we talked about that main Nausicaan? Did we mention him?
No, I didn't. Not in our head, no.
He's in an episode of Deep Space Nine as a hunter.
Oh, the actor is, okay.
Yeah.
As in the Task episode?
Yeah.
Which is called Task, of course.
Yeah. He's one of the two hunters.
You talked about last week, I think.
Tony Todd's the other hunter, and he's the other hunter. Yeah.
I was watching an episode of The Orville recently, and a Mocklin stood up and talked, and I wasn't looking at the screen. And I went, that's Tony Todd. Like, it didn't even have to look at him, even in, Android, or even in alien makeup. I was like, yep, that's him.
Yeah. Yeah, the Tosk episode. That's the one.
The other guy who played a hunter was the leader of the Trabe and a few other things. He was in Star Trek a few times too. Sorry, please continue.
So yes, play Dom Jot Human. They offer Corey a bigger stick, but then Picard says no thanks, and they accuse them of being cowards. All of Starfleet cowards. You talk, but you have no grumber. Well, the grumber line sends Corey over the edge. I don't know what grumber is, but it must be a big insult, because...
Sorry to interrupt, but he was a hunter, but he was a Herodian hunter along with Tony Todd in Voyager.
Herodian hunter, right.
Sorry, just looked it up. But when you said Tony Todd, I thought, he was a Herodian, so I just looked it up, and this guy's a Herodian hunter.
You're wrong one. I knew he played a hunter, and I knew he was in another episode. Yeah, well done. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Yes, so the grumble line sends Corey over the edge, and they square up to the Nausicaans, and then they insult Marta as well, saying they're going to show her a good time. And Corey goes to lunge at the Nausicaan, but instead Picard protects them and pushes him back over a table. This is Corey flying over a table and onto the floor. Corey gets up, and Picard tries to explain away what happened, saying that the Nausicaan had a a weapon, but Corey tells Picard that he doesn't know who he is, but he isn't his friend anymore. And Marta just simply says, "Goodbye, Johnny." I haven't mentioned they call him Johnny through this episode. It's kind of weird. It reminds me of Johnny Rico from what's it called? The Bugs film.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers, yeah. Come on, Johnny. Barman Q comes over and congratulates Mon Capitan. He did it. He's succeeded. And the next thing he knows, he's back on the bridge of the Enterprise. But he's dressed in blue. Worf thinks Picard has come to him with a report, but directs him to engineering. Oh, look. There's Karen. She saw the screenshot.
I don't know what the time till data is for this one. I'm sure Tavi has it marked, but I'd say this is the longest, possibly, unless it's an episode that doesn't feature him, of time till data. You know, we're about 37, 38 minutes in.
Yeah. As I say, there's an episode without him in it. You'll like the next picture.
Subspace says Picard's got the blues. He does.
He
in more
does.
ways than
It's
one.
more of a green, really, but I would think. But maybe I'm
No, it's
colorblind.
definitely blue. It's, it doesn't look right in blue, does he?
Oh, it's probably aquamarine or something. Anyway, yeah.
And it's weird. It's weird seeing a blue command uniform. I think I said this last time I saw one. But don't often see the male command uniforms in blue. It's more than usually the tight ones with the. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Yeah. They obviously, they made one especially for him. Well, I mean, it makes sense because all the older uniforms were just reuses of the season 1 to season 2. So unless you were like Data specifically had a body double and lighting double who you got the proper yellow uniform, but he was the only one because he was a body double for Data, so he had to have it. But everyone else still had to zip up the front ones.
Yeah,
and there was no male main principal characters who wore a blue or green uniform, so therefore they just didn't make them. They just used the season 1 extra ones.
Yeah.
Stuplum says he's black and blue.
Yeah.
Dad joke.
Fair point.
And Spider Rainbow's seeing gold. You know, like that dress that everyone said was black and blue.
Yeah.
It was gold and white.
Oh, yes.
It's gold and white, I tell yous. Yeah. So, Worf thinks he's coming to him with a report, but directs him to engineering, to Geordie. So, Worf confirms that he's a lieutenant junior grade assistant astrophysics officer. So, basically the same grade as the lower decks crew now. Lieutenant junior grade.
Although if you were in...
It's the same grade as
for 40
Boimler.
years, I mean, you get lieutenant junior grade just if you don't muck up too badly and you're in the service 2 years, you should get lieutenant junior grade. So yeah, the fact he's still there after 40 years. I'm not saying you should be captain, but you know, unless you're Ensign Kim, but everyone else on a normal ship, it's more or less a given unless you have a behavioral issue or some sort of remedial program. They'll just give that to you. So yeah, it's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Tavi's not here to give her military speech, so I have to do it for her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Data tells him that the captain of the ship's Captain Thomas Holloway, and he thinks,
"What is love,
baby?" No, he should. Data thinks he should escort him to sick bay, but Picard says he can find the way. He enters sick bay, but instead of finding Beverly, he finds a German Dr. Q, who explains he has done as promised. He congratulates him on his new heart and hopes he enjoys running tests and analysis and taking the results to his superior. And then he disappears. And that's the end of Act 4. Question time.
Which class does Picard toast to, or should I say, to which class does Picard toast? And either way, A27, B37, C47, C again, because apparently I can't use letters, 57. Just treat that as D. And what station is Mr. Big D Mr. Super Soaker himself sitting at in the present day. So what bridge station is Data sitting at?
And Subspace Chatter says there was only one Lieutenant Junior grade in TOS. Who?
Lieutenant Junior grade. Oh, I would say probably Walter Koenig.
Chekhov.
Chekhov. Sorry, I would imagine it's Chekhov. Yeah, Kasula would be the more senior to him.
I was going to go Uhura.
That could be possible as well.
But, yeah. It's going to be Chekhov or Uhura, isn't it? I don't.
It has to be. I couldn't tell you. I still haven't learned how to read the TOS ranks or even the Filmir ranks. I'm useless
You've
at
got to
it.
look at the
Something I
lines
really
and the
should
dashes
learn.
on the cuffs. Yeah.
Although even in Strange New Worlds, they get it consistently wrong all the time. Like because it's too awkward to change them. It's not like Pips. So even where Scotty's introduced and he goes Lieutenant Junior grade and he's wearing the ranks of full lieutenant on his badge.
Yeah.
Oh, the answer was Joe Tormolin in the Naked Time, the first person to catch polywater intoxication.
Yeah, well, you got me with that one. I would never have guessed that. I know the Naked Time and the Naked Now, but yeah, that's the one.
Wow,
First one is
really?
the one with Sulu with the sword, if you recall. But yeah, I wouldn't remember the guest stars. Certainly not.
No, crumbs. Is he the one that was found in a shower?
Yeah,
Don't know.
could be. And then they have the guy Chief Riley taking over with a horrific Irish accent again, taking over engineering and singing "Taking You Home Again, Kathleen." It's like, oh, please stop it. No, not anymore. This.
No.
Even they brought back. Sorry, Mazza. Even when they brought back Michael Sullivan in the recent. All right. Even when they brought Michael Sullivan back 2 weeks ago, they still had an American do a bad Irish accent. It's like, stop! It's 2023. Just get a proper person. Now I'll shut up, please, Mazza. Go ahead.
Just two little tiny bits, Triv. One was that the morning after scene with Marta and Picard was cut significantly. In the original script, Marta gives a speech about first day at the Academy. Cut references include Scobie Hall, where an Admiral Silona gave a welcome speech to the cadets, noting that only 1 in 3 cadets would make it through the 4-year course. And the only other bit was that in the original script, there was a bigger interaction between Geordie and Picard, and Geordie was treating Picard a little bit like he did Lieutenant Barclay at first, but it was never filmed, and Geordie's entire role in this episode was reduced to the one line over the intercom saying that he wanted the analysis brought to him.
Yeah, we don't see
what
him.
What kind of
physically.
nickname would you give Jean-Luc Picard? You know, like obviously Barclay becomes Broccoli. What kind of silly nickname could you give him? Prickly or something? I don't know.
Prickly Picard. Picky. Well, it definitely wasn't picky, was he? With his with all those women he was chasing.
Don't know. Maybe try hard instead of Picard.
Try hard. Jean-Luc try hard. Very good. Very good.
When I went to school, there was 2 Mr. Murrays.
Picardy and pickles.
Picardy and
pickles. That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, when I went to school, there was 2 different teachers called Mr. Murray, but one of them had a beard, so he was always known as Furry Murray. I always enjoyed that one. Yeah. All right, well, we may as well go to answers. I think we've probably had enough time.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was class of 27, and Mr. D was sitting at Science 1.
Science 1, yes.
The lefternmost console.
So Ruth got Science, and Monty Ban got Science 1.
I'll allow science, although technically there is a Science 1 and Science 2, but Picard was kind of on Science 2, but yeah, we'll allow it because otherwise it won't be a wheel.
Ruth and Monty Ban on the wheel.
Stuplum
also said Science, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll do it. Oh, Monty has the look of the wheel tonight.
Monty, wow. I thought I was sliding into Ruth for a second there.
Stu, I thought I was going to Stu. Look at that.
Sorry, Stu.
I think that's the closest I've ever seen it on the wheel. That's, It's not been that close before.
At least it actually tells you, and you don't have to just use your eyesight judgment.
What is that? What is that? Yeah. Okay, so we're into the final act. We are nearly there, people. So, Picard interrupts Riker and Troy in 10 Forward and asks them what his future on the Enterprise would be. They tell him his performance is good. He's steady and reliable. Punctual. He's punctual. He turns up on time.
It's like they find as many ways as possible to say, you're basic.
Yeah, mid. Picard wants to be more than that. He wants something that will lead to command. But Riker thinks that's unrealistic. Way to, like, just chop a guy off. Oh, ouch.
Yeah, it was quite brutal.
Yeah.
They
Riker,
walked back from it, but they did start quite brutal.
yeah. Riker advises that he needs to do
We
more.
like you as a friend.
Yeah. He needs to do more to stand out. But after some encouragement from Picard, relents to talking to Geordi in engineering and seeing what he can do. Troy tells them that maybe they should talk about this later.
Those are those not a candle glass things again as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're not a candle glass.
And we got the game, but, you know, there's usually a question about that, so better not mention that.
Yep, the Tandy game thing. Troy tells them that, they need to talk about it later. But then they get called to the captain's ready room for something important with senior staff. And Picard goes to get up, but then realizes, oh no, that's not him. That's under his breath while sat at the table in 10 Forward. Picard tells Q, that's enough. He gets the point. All right. And he looks around, but nothing happens. And then Geordi interrupts for his one line of the episode to say that he's still waiting for the statistical analysis and engineering. So Picard heads off. It's the turbo lift. And in the turbo lift tells an invisible Q that he must find this hilarious, him living the life of a dreary man in a tedious job. Have you changed uniforms?
No, don't draw any attention to that.
Okay.
Tabby has to figure it out on her own.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love that he talks about having anything other than being a captain is tedious. It's like, oh, well, thanks.
Yeah.
As I go to my tedious job,
welcome to
shuffling
the
numbers.
hoi polloi. Yeah. A dreary person. So he basically sees most of his crew as dreary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not Ace Rimmer, you're a nobody.
No. The doors of the lift opens and he's back in Q heaven. Q's like, well, that's gratitude, that is. I'll give you a second chance of life and all you can do is complain. Because you never came face to face with death, never seized your opportunities. He didn't lead the away mission to Milika 3. He didn't save the ambassador. You never commanded the Stargazer, he never commanded the Stargazer's bridge when the captain was killed. This Picard always played it safe.
Yeah,
one thing I was wondering, right?
Mm-hmm.
He promised that only his life would be changed, right? But what about the guy that's the captain of the Enterprise now? Holloway.
Oh,
his life's changed because he wasn't the captain of the Enterprise before. And that's the flagship of the Federation. That's pretty important, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point. Or maybe he died in Wolf 359, now he doesn't, and he doesn't have any kids, so it just minimizes. I don't know, something like that.
Did Holloway become
I took it to mean that this whole thing was a simulation to demonstrate a point and that there would be no long-term impact on anybody's lives.
Yeah. It was just a thought. If this was now, but with the change to life, it does affect other people.
Well, Star Trek is now, in the more modern Trek, leaning into the kind of Doctor Who idea where you can make small changes, but it doesn't create parallel universes. It just time sort of self-corrects if the changes are too major. it's like time can self-correct. It can just kind of put itself back on track as long as the change isn't too drastic. As I said, it's more philosophy than science. But,
as long as the change is not too drastic, like someone staying behind in the past and maybe starting a family, like Rios did in Picard. Like just minor things like that, like not going home.
Well, again in the Orville, they had a situation where they go back to collect Malloy, and Malloy's been there 10 years and after having kids, and he doesn't want to leave his kids, and is like, okay, well, we'll just go back 10 years when you first arrived, and we'll take you before your kids were even born, and basically erase his kids from existence and his whole life. It's a really sad episode, but it just shows how great the Orville is. It's just
that was brutal. That was absolutely brutal.
It was brutal, but it was also brilliant, and it was great writing. I loved it.
Tavakins,
you're
home.
Hi, Tavona.
You're there.
Tavi's in town.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Exhausted.
I'm in a Jamaican humor here. We'll join you for a run.
Exhausted.
Although I'm a wimp, I have to have the soda water.
No.
Mine's a rum punch, so I've got it with all kinds of things. I don't know, fruit juices and stuff. Still pretty strong though.
Okay, so just carrying on with this act. Yes. He never seized the opportunities. Yes, that's where we're at. This Picard played it safe. As Dan from Subspace Chat said, he didn't boldly go anywhere, or he boldly went basically. He basically went forward. Yeah, not boldly. Oops, no, that's wrong. That's the wrong place.
He says maybe the captain was Liam Shaw from Picard Season 3, and the best thing I love about Todd Stashik is, to all the fans, he's always known as the dipshit from Chicago, and he forever will be. I just love it.
The dipshit from Chicago?
He said it as a line, I'm just some dipshit from Chicago. So now there's like posters and things he's asked to sign.
Was that in Picard, was it?
Yeah, it was Picard Season 3. It was the good Picard. You've still blanked it anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. Apart from the Enterprise D bit. I like that bit.
We had Voyager and Lower Decks the other day.
So Picard admits that this was all a mistake and asks for a chance to put it back. To put back what once went wrong. He would rather die the man he was than live like this. We go back to the bar on the Earhart station, and the Grumble line does provoke a reaction from Picard this time. Who starts the fight? There he is, attacking the Nausicaan. Can I have just a quick question about this? Is this all like just like a fairy tale then? You know, all happening in Picard's mind? Like, we've gone back to this point in the... but did he actually sleep with Marta, or did that happen or not happen?
It's never really resolved. He'd probably have to ask Marta and Corey in real time what their memories of these events were to find out if Q's interference actually did change anything.
Yeah, did we actually sleep? You don't remember?
Damn it. I choose to read it that he pushed him back to the pivotal point, and you know that the other things were just kind of leading him up to the conclusion. So I choose to believe that he didn't. That was just for his own benefit to understand why it was a bad idea. So they just erased it all, put him back into that moment as it originally happened, and then it happened again. But that's just me.
It's a Q fantasy world type thing.
Yeah. Subspace says maybe it's all on Hollow Q deck.
Yeah, Hollow Q deck. Yeah, that's what I think it is. Yeah.
I go into the Doctor Who 50th anniversary where he destroys Gallifrey, and then he doesn't because of that. Do you know? Actually, I won't go into it. It's too complicated. Move on.
I'll give you a.
Shut up, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shut myself up on that one. I was like, no, I'll be 5 minutes. Give up.
So Picard's there starting a fight, inevitably after one of them got after he got one of them in the devious headlock, and one of his chums comes up and stabs Picard in the back, and Picard looks down and is happy to see that it's all panned out as it was supposed to be, with a dagger through his chest. Back in sickbay, Picard stabilizes and starts to laugh. Beverly tells him he was injured, but is all right now. He's on the mend.
Yeah, I want to say you don't want to have a fierce amount of power to stab someone through the heart from the back. I mean, there's all sorts of bones and ribs and things. You don't want to be fairly accurate, you know.
Well, those Norsicans, they're pretty tough
It's
things.
not an easy shot. Unless you're stabbing through bone, and then, you know, you need the power of a tank.
So back in the observation lounge, Picard tells Riker the story of what happened. He wonders if it was a Q hallucination or whether he was actually back in time. If it was Q, he owes him a debt of gratitude. He realizes that if he pulls on one of those threads from his past that he finds, shall we say, undesirable, then the tapestry of his whole life will come apart. Riker wishes he'd known that Picard. And Picard goes on to tell him about, well, that wasn't the first time he'd had a run-in with some Norsicans. And then, you know, starts to do the whole granddad stories of his, you know, the war years. And that's the end of the episode. We are done.
I wonder if that second story ever gets expanded upon in any other like novels or stuff like that.
Oh, I bet it has.
I'd imagine it does, yeah.
Yeah. Be good to know how that story ended as well.
I think there's novels about Holloway and how he just missed out on becoming captain of the Enterprise. Because he was supposed to be captain of the Enterprise, and then he retired unexpectedly, and Picard was chosen. Or something like that.
Do you have in your trivia who the other choice for the off-screen captain was going to be?
I do. I know.
All right. Well, that's not one of the questions, but okay.
Yes, it was Jellicoe.
Oh, I'll give the questions anyway. So, what is the first piece of advice Riker gives to Lieutenant Picard? A. Stand out in the crowd. B. Take chances. C. Get noticed. D. Grow a beard. And the bonus question: what is the name of the test where command track officers have to face their own mortality just in case a Nausicaan doesn't stab them? The no-win scenario is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
You know, you see it. It's been
that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
where you have to
I don't
rescue
know the
a ship.
first one. I'm gonna have to guess. I reckon I'm gonna guess C. And I don't know how to spell it.
Yeah, and well, if you're in the general vowel and thing area, then we'll be all right.
We've got A, B, and C, so yeah, people are guessing different. So trivs and stuff for the last little bit. This is the penultimate appearance of Q on TNG, the last one being the finale, All Good Things. As we mentioned, you know, he laments that he doesn't know whether his experiences were real or not, but he could always put in a call to Corey and Marta and ask them what their memories were. When LaForge calls to Picard and says, I still haven't got that statistical analysis, and he goes to the turbo lift. He doesn't have the pad on him that he had originally taken to the bridge, so presumably he would have turned up in main engineering empty-handed. And the final one is
he wasn't holding it. I don't know what he did with it. He lost it on 10 forward, I think.
If they don't have the Wi-Fi where you can't, they don't have cloud computing where you can't just pull something off it.
I know, it should have just been a
tablet that you're assigned into. If you're assigned into a tablet with your profile, you should just be able to pull it as a virtual desktop.
Yeah,
although in the 90s,
the way
they didn't
took it to the bridge, and they said that shouldn't be for us. You need to take that to Mr. Laporte, you know. So anyway, Picard tells Q that he would rather have lived his past life and died than the life that hit from the altered timeline. And although he prevents the falling out with Corey Weller, he hasn't left out the sleeping with Marta, so that's the same point, but from a different direction about whether or not he had still slept with Marta. Guess we'll never know.
No.
It's better to have loved than lost, never loved at all, huh?
Yep, indeed.
Yeah. All right, thank you, man.
Yeah, we'll see, wasn't it getting noticed? I don't know why I said A. I just put one down.
Get noticed, take chances, stand out in the
See.
crowd, grow a beard. I just need to fill it out. But it was get noticed, take chances, stand out in the crowd. I did it in reverse order, and it was Kobayashi Maru. Don't worry about spelling too much.
Well, in that case, then I think everybody pretty much got that, didn't they? Mazza, Bruce,
The C was correct, was it?
Yeah, C.
Wow. Monteban,
But
you were winning up until this last question.
I know. I should have put C.
Sorry to tell you that.
As soon as I put A, I realised it was C. And I was like, oh no, it was C, wasn't it? I didn't
But
read them all.
Subspace says Kobayashi Mashi. I love it.
That'll do.
Close enough.
That was close enough.
I don't think he
But
was trying to get it right.
No,
It just tickled me
he
that
did though. That's it.
you know they have these command programs where you have to order
mean-
people to die, or the no-win scenario with Kobayashi Maru that are all simulated. But the reason why Picard is a good captain is because it happened to him in real life, and he learned from that experience. So I just like that. It wasn't on purpose, but I like the way that all kind of lined up to make the lore richer.
Yeah. So,
Subspace says, will Picard manage to safely climb down from Pike's Peak? What would that be? His hairstyle? I don't know.
I hope so. I hope so. Okay. I'm spinning wheel. It's spinning.
Oh, we have a tabby.
Tabby
We have a. Oh, just barely.
Tabby, are you tossing up the bingos, by the way?
Well done, Tabby.
Tabby, are you totting up the bingos, by the way? Should we call a close to bingo? I haven't actually been marking.
I'm tallying up bingo.
Okay, cool. I haven't actually been marking my bingo off just because I've got too much else going on.
Oh wow, you're on holiday. You can't be doing everything, can you?
Well, to be fair, you only have the one screen too. Oh no, you only ever work off the one screen.
Okay, so start to think about what you'd give this episode out of 10.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yep.
0 to 10. Not 11, not minus 50. Just making that clear for some people out there. Not mentioning any names, Dan. But yeah. I have to say, I thought it was a good episode this week. I quite enjoyed it. I was surprised by the age gap of. That was a bit ick. That was a bit. Oh no, I don't want
Ick, yeah.
that. But
I had it in my head that the part where he's back as a junior grade on the Enterprise, it's incredibly short. It's only about 4 or 5 minutes. I get that it's hard to fit. This is a big concept, and they can't fit all the things they wanted into the episode. But in my mind, it was longer. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just in my head there was more hijinks of him being at lower decks. Cleaning out the biofilters of the holodecks, or whatever it is they made him do that was demeaning in his mind. And the speech he had could have been bigger. He could have had a big Picard speech about all the things he achieved and how great he was and all the things he's going to achieve. Kind of David Tennant's regeneration speech. Like, I could have done so much more. But outside of that, it was a very, very good episode. Just not amazing.
yeah, it was good. I thought it was a very solid episode. I particularly liked the guest stars this week.
Yeah,
thought,
I mean, she was a good actress for a 17-year-old. Like the scene where she was crying.
Really
and stuff.
good. She reminded
That was
me
pretty
of
good.
oh no, I've forgotten her name. Contact. What's her name?
Oh yeah, Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster. She reminded me a bit like
Yeah.
Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Well,
Kind of that,
Jodie Foster Jodie Foster got nominated for an Oscar at 13 or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
Just she
for,
had that
Taxi
sort of
Driver.
classic
Yeah.
beauty,
Similar
but
look.
also a
Yeah.
bit like tomboyish. Kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she could hold her own, but still very attractive, and she was very natural. Something
Yeah.
about her that was very appealing.
It's very hard to have stage presence when you're 17. Even at 38, you get in a room with sort of 50 people. It can be hard to do that. To just be like normal.
But I thought it was a great Q episode. I thought Q had a good point, and I thought he had a lot of good one-liners, the little quips to Picard were quite funny and on point. So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. I also enjoyed the fact this is kind of probably I don't know if it's the first episode, but it's definitely one of the first where he stops being so malevolent, and his malevolence is, he's helping things along from, well, best of both worlds. He helped things along because he showed them the board, he helped them get ready for the threat, but he is trying to help
this is
in
a
his
fairly
own twisted
altruistic
way.
episode from his perspective,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Everybody
he-
really
he's
was
good.
cute.
Yeah, he's giving a gift in his own weird, twisted way.
Yeah.
I like the Monster Maroons are back. Any episode that features the Monster Maroons get an extra bonus point from me.
I'm not wearing anything underneath that, so maybe I shouldn't do that.
Oh, don't do that.
I have no other tunic.
Yeah.
But I'll, actually,
that all
I-
of the
I-
bingos,
Luckily,
Tabby?
I'm wearing something. I've got the tunic
Yeah.
on underneath, so I'm all right.
yeah.
So we've got the
I'll do that,
scores.
Flan.
If you want to bring the scores up, Monty.
Oh, yes, I'm padding while I do that, and I've completely forgot to do the thing that I was padding for. What a numpty.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll do a little bit more padding. I just want to say, last week I
Well, I've got
absolutely
some padding
struggled.
too.
Okay. Well, I only have like 10 seconds. I was just going to say, last week I absolutely struggled to come up with questions. This week I had too many, which makes it better on my book. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in terms of reception, this was listed as one of the 10 essential episodes of TNG in the reference book Star Trek 101. Wesley Crusher actor Will Wheaton once said that this was his favorite episode. Really great example of how everything that happens in our lives, even the shitty things, can help shape us into the people we are. Although there was one other source of Will Wheaton saying that his favorite episode was The Inner Light. Ronald D. Moore thought it was one of the best things he'd ever written and one of the show's finest episodes. And John Delancey also loved it, said, I thought it was a terrific script. There was a speech at the end where I talked about what Picard would have been. It was tip-top speech. This show was terrific from the start to finish.
Good stuff.
Subspace Chatter says the questions were great, Sean.
Yes, very good
Oh, thank you.
questions.
Appreciations on your efforts.
Well, I have to say, like last week, my questions were crap, but thankfully nobody tuned in. But it was just, sometimes they come easy and sometimes they come hard. I can't explain it more than some episodes are easier than others. There's just more trivia involved.
So Space added the Star Trek 101 reference to Memory Alpha.
Oh, cool. Wicked.
This is circular. It's all circular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Bruce
you're
right
here
as
today,
well.
Dan, but I updated Ex Astra Ciencia, which is peak nerd. Sorry, Maz, go ahead.
I was going to say, Ruth says, does Will Wheaton like any episodes that he was in? That's a good point. There was a point as well that, of his favorite episodes that Will Wheaton cited, like he's never actually appeared in the ones that he says are his favorites, unlike, Marina Sirtis liking an episode she was in and Data liking episodes about him, or, Brent Spiner liking episodes about him. But yeah, Will Wheaton likes episodes that he didn't even feature in. But then I guess, he was out of it for quite a lot of seasons, right?
Yeah, he's only in probably 50
Points.
episodes.
Points. Let's
Yeah.
get these points on the scoreboard.
So in top place with 395 TNG review points is Ruth. So 10 points to Ruth.
10 points to Ruth. 1, 2, 5.
Closely followed by, with 360 TNG review points, Stuplum. So 9 points to
9
Stuplum.
points for Stuplum.
What's your marks out of 10, by the way, Stuplum? You haven't put that in chat yet. And then next, with 330 TNG review points, is Mazza. So 8 points to me.
8 points to you.
And then next, very sadly, because you were literally in the lead until that last question, and then you ended up in fourth, with 300 TNG review points, is Monty. So 7 on the scoreboard for you.
7 for me.
And then next, with 40 TNG review points, is Tavi. So 6 points for Tavi.
6 for Tavi.
And then snuck in there with some bingo points, 5 points to Gujon. Mr.
Good
T.
John, Mr. Tabikins. Where's Mr. Tabi? How many for him?
5.
5. There we go. And I don't know if that's made any difference, but I will do a quick resort just in case.
I don't believe it has.
I think Mr. Tabikins might have gone up. Yeah. Overtaken G-Star.
Still neck and neck. I thought Ruth might take out Tavi, but she nope. Tavi's
Only
still
2
there.
points in it now, Ruth. There's only 2 points in it.
So my battery's running low now, so if I disappear, I apologise.
Right, should we quickly do the
Oh,
scores
we're
then?
pretty much on.
Let's quickly do the
yeah.
scores.
That's cool. I haven't got my paddle.
You
Okay.
didn't bring your paddle.
I'll hold up my fingers.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Doing. Is that a
9
9?
for me.
9
That's
from
a
you,
9 for
9
me.
from me.
The
9,
seven.
9, 7, 8. 9, 9, 7, and 8 from Sean.
Eight.
And the
And we've got an
audience,
8, a 9, and an 8 in chat, so that averages to
from Stuplum?
8.33, so that's 8.
8. Oh, this puts it really up there for this season. It's second best episode this season, and I think it's at the same score
It is a
as
great
Chain of
episode.
Command Part
Really enjoyed it.
2.
And what episode might we have next week?
Birthright, part 1 and 2.
Birthright, parts 1 and 2. Yeah, 2-parter next
Ooh.
week. Birthright. Yeah. So I'm quite looking forward to that.
Just keep
Hopefully-
circling.
Hopefully, it'll be. I'll be feeling a bit better by then. I'm up.
I think Tavi might get a bit of a crush on Bashir. He's kind of autistic in his own way.
It's not my type. He's not.
Nah. Yeah,
His
we've got
uncle
a bit of
killed
Deep
turkeys.
Space
That
Nine, haven't
help?
we? A bit of Deep Space Nine next week. Yeah, I've got that.
A little bit. Yeah, 2-parter.
Not enough meat on his bones.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yes. Thank you for everyone that's come along, and thank you for Mazim and Bob from coming over subspace all the way from Risa.
My pleasure. It's
and,
beautiful to be here. I mean, it's good to be here.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone in live chat for joining in our quiz and joining in with chat. It's been great to talk to you all. Thanks to Ruth. Your honor in the competition. Stuplum, you didn't rate the episode. You didn't rate the
That's
episode.
right.
You put it 8.
Did he?
Didn't he?
Oh, he did. Say
Oh, yeah, he
8.
did. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
he did
that's my
say-
fault.
He did say 8. Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't say that.
Sorry.
It still rounds out to 8. So
Yeah, it
it's all
still
good.
rounds out to 8. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Stuplum. Thank you to Mr. Tarvikins for coming along. Thank you to G-Star from Underground Paradox. And yes, thank you to Wookie for not coming and not losing us any points on the wheel.
Yeah, miss you. I did see your comment on the video last week, so we know you're having internet issues, but we hope you're well and we'll see you soon.
Yes. And yeah, and thanks to all the people hanging about in the back of Maz's shop.
I should probably have it blurred, really, to people's privacy, right?
Yeah, they're on holiday. Thanks to the holiday makers in Jamaica joining us. Yeah, we will see you next week for a 2-parter, Birthrights Parts 1 and 2. We'll see you then next week, next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Cheers.
Amazing.
Just keep circling.